Hello everybody and welcome to TCR Europe 2022 Round 3 at the Castellet circuit in Paul Ricard. The weather is beautiful and the action out on track has been intense so far as we prepare for our first race event of the weekend. We're racing twice in TCR Europe. For anybody who's new to the championship, first and foremost, a very warm welcome to you all. This is our first race of the weekend and of course we'll be back in action again tomorrow afternoon, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. But before we get into tomorrow, let's talk about what is in front of us. In qualification 1, we had 14 cars separated by less than a second. The field has been incredibly compact all through the weekend in free practice and in qualification. And the man that came out at the front of the field at the end of the day is that yellow car that you see on screen there. Tom Coronel, 50 years of age, scores his first pole position of the season for ComTU Racing. There we see 56 points on the board, 5th in the championship after a very solid weekend. Last time out in Portimao, got a 3rd place in the 2nd race, so Coronel very much in the hunt for the championship charge. In 2nd position, we have got this man here, Felice Yelmini, having a great time in the Hyundai, not being the quickest car in a straight line, has the Hyundai Elantra, but Yelmini in 2nd position. His teammate Josh Files joining him in 3rd place. It's a very strong qualifying for the team. Files 2nd in the points, as you can see there, 62 on the board. We'll be looking to move forward over the course of this race and then the reverse grid event that we have tomorrow as well. John Philippi had a good day for the sole Sebastian Loeb racing car that we see on screen now. The 2nd row of the grid, 4th position, compounding what has been a very strong weekend so far for the Frenchman at home here in France at the Le Castellet circuit. So John Philippi, of course, a former very successful driver in the world of TCR Europe and TCR competition, will be looking to get his championship charge on go. Franco Girolami, winner last time out in Portimao. Girolami had an intense battle with Pepe Oriola to come across the line in 1st position. Since we last saw him, he's become a proud father as well. So Franco, congratulations from us all at TCR on becoming a father to a wonderful little boy. And there we see another man that was successful in Portimao. Jack Young scored the first win of the 2022 season for Mike Halder's Halder competition team. Young doing good work to line up on the grid in 6th position, was much further up the field in the dying moments of qualifying, were pipped at the death, so expect Young to move forward. And Isidro Callejas, the young Spanish hopeful that we see there. Callejas has been incredibly strong all season. Very, very young indeed. At just 17 years of age, we expect big things from him. And his teammate, Kim Gavrilov, lines up just behind him in the running order in position 8. Gavrilov having a strong qualifier as well, 50 points on the board, 7th in the overall championship standings. Gavrilov will be one to keep an eye on as the season and the race progresses. Pepe Oriola, somebody that was very much in the heat of battle at Portimao. He lines up 9th on the grid for this race. That will become 2nd position in race 2. The Brutal Fish Honda has been very, very fast all weekend, so keep your eye out for Pepe Oriola to move forward in the early stages of this race. And our pole position man in the Diamond Trophy, Victor Davidovski for ComTU Racing, having a fabulous qualification. Davidovski has been very fast all through the weekend and he lines up in 10th position that will become pole position for race 2 tomorrow. So Davidovski, the leader of our Diamond Trophy competition this weekend. Evgeny Leonov is 11th place, probably the most frustrating qualifying position you can have in TCR Europe, because 11th is the first place that doesn't get reversed for tomorrow's race 2 grid. So he will start in 11th in both races, ahead of this man Matto Homola, 12th position, just ahead of his teammate Homola. Much better weekend than we saw last time out for Matto. He's had a very nice qualification, 12th place. You can do some damage from there. There are points on offer, of course, in TCR all the way down to 15th place within the race. Nicola Baldan, another one of the target competition cars, another Hyundai Elantra, 13th on the grid. So Baldan will be looking for a strong result. Qualified well in Portimao, a little bit further down the running order this time, just ahead of Joachim Galash, teammate to Matto Homola. Very similar livery to the target cars, of course, so we have to keep our eye out for that one. But Joachim Galash, the Yannick Motorsports, having a solid afternoon, or morning should I say, earlier today, and he'll be looking to transfer that into a solid points paying position come the checkered flag. For this race today, we're running for 10 laps. Should we have a safety car situation, we can move it forward a further 2 laps to be a total of 12. And we've got 20 cars on the grid, the names of whom you see on your screen now. And you'll notice we'll have a couple of new drivers. So 20 cars on the grid. This time we no longer have Gustavo Mora Jr. and Luis Sedad, the Portuguese drivers last season. They've been replaced by Clarier Sport, a team I'm sure many of you will remember from last season when Teddy and Jimmy, brothers, raced in the Peugeot 308 and won here at Paul Ricard. Well, Clarier Sport are back, but they have got Stefan Vontager and Gilles Colombani taking place. In their team, they're running Seat Leon Cupras, so keep an eye out for them. They qualified in 17th for Vontager and 20th position for Colombani. So further down the running order, both drivers are part of our Diamond Trophy as well, alongside Giacomo Gamande, Evgeny Leonov, Vontager, Colombani, Martin Reba and Davidovski that we saw in 10th position on the grid. So it's good to see the Diamond Trophy has set up a little bit more drivers this weekend. So here is our starting grid for wet race 1. Tom Coronel from Felice Gelmini in 2nd place. Row 2, Josh Files, John Philippi. Row 3, Franco Girolami and Jack Young. Isidro Callejas lines up in 7th place. Klim Gavrilov in position 8. When we move further down now to position 9, Pepe Oriola just ahead of Victor Davidovski, our pole position man in the Diamond Trophy. Evgeny Leonov from Mato Homola, Nicola Baldan and Joachim Galash at 13th and 14th. 15th is Mike Halder just ahead of Giacomo Germande, 2nd place man in the Diamond Trophy. 17th is Vantager, the new driver for this weekend. Michel Halder, disappointing qualifying down in 18th position just ahead of Martin Reba and Gilles Colombani, the second of our 2 new French drivers here for the French round of the TCR Europe Championship, rounds 3 and 4 of the season, the second weekend of competition. It's great to see we've got a good crowd here at the circuit. The weather has been resplendent, as you would expect for this part of the world, and the action on track has been just as hot. I'm anticipating this race and race 2 to be touring car classics. There are plenty of drivers that are hungry for a big result. As I said, there's just under a second covers the top 14 drivers in Q1, so we know this field is incredibly tight, and any one of those 14 drivers could very easily work their way up into the podium positions. So keep your eye out for these first few laps, are going to be absolutely critical. The Castellet circuit at Paul Ricard has passing opportunities, but you need to be quick in a straight line. You need to use that slipstream, and this is something that the Hyundai cars are struggling with in the speed traps a little bit this weekend. Not the fastest car in a straight line, great in sectors 1 and sectors 3, so the overall lap time is comparable to their rivals, but they just don't have the straight line speed of some of the cars, the Audi, for example, and the Cupra, so it's going to be a difficult job for Gelmini and Josh Files to move their way forward over the course of this race. We'll keep our eye out for that one in the opening laps. Elbows out is something that our drivers are very much going to need to do. There's the Volcano Motorsport team getting ready to see how their drivers get on over the course of the race. And just to remind you, we're on the TCR TV YouTube channel. You can follow us on our social media channels as well. Check us out on TikTok. We're also on Instagram and Facebook for some insight to what's happening over the course of this weekend and the racing season in general. We've got plenty of good and exciting entertainment coming your way over the next few days. But this is what we've all come for, ladies and gents. This is where the magic happens. Race time. The last 3 weeks since Portimao, our teams, our drivers, our technicians have been gearing up for this very moment. The next 10 laps are going to decide which driver takes home those 40 points for the race victory, who gets some silverware, and who will need to go away and have a long, hard think about their day in anticipation of race 2, rounds 4 of the championship. Tomorrow they will see the Halder car, the Honda Civic FK7, one of the older models in the TCR category of cars, but still a very competitive proposition. We saw last time out at Portimao that the Halder cars were 1-2 on the grid and 1-2 in race 1, so expect those to move forward. There is the Halder cars, 3rd and 4th championship standings. Jack Young just ahead of his teammate Mike Halder. Franco Girolami, our early championship leader from Josh Files, was 3rd on the grid ahead of Girolami, so that's one to keep your eye out. Tom Coronel, 5th position, just ahead of Isidro Callejas in 6th. The experienced Coronel against the youngster Callejas, 5 and 6. Klim Gavrilov had a good qualifying line today, so hoping to score strong points. 7th in the championship standings. Pepe, Oriola, John Philippi and Nicola Baldan round out our 10 players in the championship standings. But that's all going to change in the next 30 minutes or so as this race unravels. There are stories to be told, there are answers to be gained, and we will find all of those out over the course of the next 10 laps as our pole position man, Tom Coronel, lines up on his grid spot. The entire field of 20 cars will need to line up, and then the green flag will wave at the back of the grid, and we will be go for round 3 at Le Castellet. Both drivers using the maximum amount of space they possibly can on the track to give themselves the best advantage for the run down into T1. T1 is a danger zone here at Paul Ricard. There is an opportunity to run side by side and get the inside for the next corner, so you've got to be, as a pole position man, very, very cautious to have your line covered and make sure you repel the challenge of Felice Gelmini and, of course, Josh Files and the rest of the field behind. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere for the next half an hour, because we're going to have ourselves a motor race. Green flag waved at the back of the field. The lights at the top of your shot will go red, then they'll go out. And we'll be getting ready to go for the 3rd round of the TCR European campaign. Yellow flags waving. Somebody is falling behind at the back of the grid. But Tom Coronel, the front of the field, gets a fabulous start. Immediately the Elantra goes behind to shadow Coronel through the first complex of corners. Girolami makes a good start straight away up in the 3rd position. And there we've got a car running wide as well. Everybody's making it through the first section of corners there. It's brilliant drive from Giacomo Gamandi as well in the pink and yellow Leon, doing a good job to make early ground running there. We see Jean Philippi now trying to find his way past Girolami. Girolami uses all the racetrack, covers the line. Somebody's going wide onto the blue strips in the back of our shot. That is one of the Yannick Motorsport cars, I believe it is, as we see everybody now. In fact, that's Baldan, in fact, the target competition, having a really bad start, Nicola Baldan, but so far, so good. At the front of the field, it's Callejas, by the way, that got the bad start and caused the yellow flags at the beginning. So Isidro Callejas, nightmare start for the young Spaniard, all the way down at the back of the field. Felice Gelmini. Now let's see the top speed of this Elantra compared to Franco Girolami behind. Girolami, our early championship leader, makes a fabulous start. Josh Files all the way down in 8th position, so Josh Files had a difficult start to his day, has been shuffled down the running order. Gavrilov holding on to 5th place as well, so a good start for Gavrilov in 5th position. Coronel still our race leader. They are the Hyundai Elantras trying to shake themselves through the running order if they possibly can, side by side with Davidovski. Davidovski holds his ground and retains the position through the lightning fast senior corner. You see those little bollards on the outside, that are track limits, so running too far afoul of that one, as Martin Rieber does there, you will be seen by the stewards and have to give up that time. And everybody's struggling for the grip on the racetrack at the moment. The track is very, very smooth here at Paul Ricard. These Kumho tyres are trying to grip down in these high temperatures. The cars are full of fuel, of course. Everything's coming back up to temperature underneath the drivers, so we need to be incredibly cautious indeed over these opening lap or two, just while we find the balance and get ourselves in a position to start pushing. There is Klim Gavrilov, that we see on our screen in the middle of your shot. 5th position at this moment in time. Homola running wide alongside Jakim Galash, his teammate at Yannick Motorsport. There's one of our 2 new drivers for this weekend as well. That was one of the 2 Cupras. Lap 1 completed. Everybody is still on the racetrack. All 20 cars are still in contention. Callejas moves himself back up into 18th position. The 2 Yannick cars going side by side. Homola on the outside, Galash on the inside. Contact between the 2 of them as well. Homola had to go onto the runoff area, but he lives to fight another day. That opens the door for Victor Davidovski. A lock of the brake as he looks to the outside, recognises the fact that gap will very quickly indeed start to close. And Davidovski all over the back of Josh Files, trying to make a move while the 2 Yannick cars continue to scrap behind. That's Nicola Baldan that you see at the back of the shot, the 3rd of the target competition machines, having a very aggressive start to the race. He drops himself down in the 13th place. He's got Leonov just ahead of him, so Baldan trying to make his way forward. Leonov trying to defend that 12th position. Tom Coronel at the front of the field, almost a second to the good now from Felice Gelmini, but the man on the move very much is Pepe Oriola. We said at the start of the show, keep your eye out for Pepe Oriola. The Brutal Fish Honda has been very, very quick indeed. Oriola, we know, is such An incredible touring car talent. We expect him to be very much at the sharp end of the grid throughout the entire course of this race season. And there we go. Jack Young is the man under pressure. Oriola to the inside. Through Senior. Oriola, the fastest part of the racetrack, keeps the car to the inside. Young does well to recognise there's a car alongside him. That gives Oriola the inside line. Bit of a lock, bit of a slide, mid-corner, but Oriola keeps the car on the track. That's going to push him wide for the second part of the corner. Jack Young straight back up the inside again, trading space on the racetrack. Oriola and Young, fabulous bit of driving from both of those racers. A bit further down the running order, and Pepe Oriola and Jack Young remain in 7th and 6th position respectively. Keep our eyes on that one, because while they squabble away, that allows the likes of Josh Files to start to buy into this fight. Files, of course, down in 8th position, had a bad opening lap, now on the recovery drive, and Josh Files fancies his chances against Oriola ahead, and Young, who at the moment is a bit of a cork in the bottle. Here we see another. The Yannick Motorsport cars do not know how to have a quiet race, it seems, but look at the straight line speed of Victor Davidovsky in the Audi. Davidovsky forces himself down the inside. We see that actually there's a little bit of smoke coming from the back of Galash's car, so maybe one of the panels rubbing against the wheel, but Davidovsky gets that done, signed, sealed and delivered before the braking zone, and now Galash is under pressure from his teammate Matto Homola behind, so Homola will be hard on the charge. Here we're looking at a replay. That is contact. That's where the smoke comes from. Galash straight into the side of the Battle Files machine. So big contact from those two. Homola now having another look at his teammate Matto Homola, number 70 in the second of the two Elantras from Yannick Motorsport, wants to find a way past his teammate Jakim Galash, but just behind, there we go, the ever competitive, ever strong Josh Files fancies his chances. He's down in 11th position now, courtesy of that contact a little earlier on, so Files will be seething in the cockpit of that Target competition car. Started 3rd position on the grid, fancies his chances. Homola now to the inside, makes the move. Galash down 1. Josh Files wanting to recover, desperate to avenge the contact that we saw on replay a few moments ago, and now it is the turn of Josh Files to have a go at Jakim Galash ahead. Matto Homola will be hoping to make hay while the sun does shine, and these two squabble. Files around the outside, a very brave manoeuvre by Josh Files, but he gets the deal done. Can he stay within the confines of the racetrack? Yes, he can, just about. That opens the door. Now contact, Jakim Galash, the innocent victim, big contact behind, and that is one of the insanely ludicrous made contact. A big disappointment for Jakim Galash. Such great racing, you know, I think that was made contact with the side. I mean, hopefully for Jakim Galash's sake, the damage on the car is not significant enough to put him out of the running order. Let's take a look at the replay. So Files went to the outside. That, unfortunately, kind of put off Galash's line. Callejas saw an opportunity. The front was not an opportunity, and contact between those two cars is the end result. So Isidro Callejas not having a good day at the races so far, with 4 laps in the books, and Tom Coronel continues to lead. Jack Young trying to break free further down the road from Pepe Oriola, and we see keep our eye on Callejas to see if that damage is terminal on the machine. So Callejas 16th position on track at the moment, not come down pit road, so hopefully he'll still be able to continue. Remember, we score points in TCR competition all the way down to 15th place, so Callejas is still in with a shout of scoring a point for his championship charge. As we look at Jack Young and Pepe Oriola, the fight continues in 6th and 7th position. Oriola in the same car, of course, as Jack Young ahead. 1 for Brutal Fish, 1 for Halden Motorsport. The Halden machine is the yellow and blue car. Oriola, the Brutal Fish, very distinctive livery that you see there, and he'll be very keen to find a way past. It's all down to setup and driving style where the changes between those two cars take place, and let's see if Pepe Oriola has enough in the locker to find a way past and get himself up into that top 6th place. And meanwhile, at the front of the field, Franco Girolami in 2nd place now behind Tom Coronel. So Felice Almine losing 1 position to Franco Girolami. Girolami 5th on the grid, maybe not quite where we expected the Argentinian driver to be. We thought he'd be very much at the sharp end, so that's working out quite nicely indeed for Franco Girolami. 2 Conti cars in 1st and 2nd position. The big question is, over the course of the next 5.5 laps, does Franco Girolami have enough pace to bring himself up to the rear of Tom Coronel and challenge for that race victory? We spoke to Coronel after qualifying, and he was delighted with the feeling that he has in the car, the way the car is behaving to his commands and to his driving style. It feels like he is at the very top of his game, and trust me when I tell you this, he will not want to relinquish this race lead, regardless of the fact it's his teammate, an early championship leader behind him. So Franco Girolamo has himself quite a bit of work indeed to not only get on terms with Tom Coronel, but to find a way past as well. We'll keep our eye on that one as we hit the halfway mark in this race, and Felice Gelmini starting to become a little detached from the fight behind. There's Mato Homola that we're looking at. Homola has Josh Files, 4 company Files, 10th position, just ahead of his teammate Nicola Baldan. Mike Halders had a good start as well, further down the running order in 12th position, made up a few places early in this race. And Victor Davidovsky, another man, had a good start to the race, qualified 10th, currently running in 8th position, and is the leader of the Diamond Trophy at this moment in time. Speaking of Diamond Trophy, Leonov is 2nd position in class, 13th overall, just ahead of Martin Rieber in 14th position. And then we have our new driver Stefan Bonchara in 4th in class, 17th overall. Gamande 5th in class, 18th overall, and Colin Barney bringing up the rear of the field in position 20th, 5th position in the diamond category. So we'll stay on top of that story as the race unfolds to see who can come out on top in the Diamond Trophy. But overall, fight for race victory, podiums, points, and top 10 remains as intense as ever. Josh Files is the man that's been having more than his fair share of drama in these opening 5 laps, so he's currently in 10th place and we'll be hoping to recover. Victor Davidovsky, that we're looking at on screen at this moment in time, in 8th position, chasing down the Jack Young Pepe Oriola fight ahead and trying to keep Mato Homola behind. That is, we're looking at Felice Gelmini, 3rd position, so started position 2, dropped 1 to Franco Girolamo, but he'll be desperate to hold on to those podium positions. A very difficult race last time out in Portimao for Gelmini, so this will be a very, very big confidence booster to the driver if he can hold on over the course of the next 5 laps or so. There we see Jack Young. Just behind Jack Young, we have Pepe Oriola, and just behind Pepe Oriola, as we said earlier, Victor Davidovsky. Close that gap down to absolutely nothing. We know the Audi is fast in a straight line. We know Davidovsky is incredibly fast here at Portimao. He was very much in the top 5 during the practice sessions and even during qualification 1. So Davidovsky will be looking to make hay with this opportunity and score as big a points haul as he can for himself and the team at the conclusion of this race. And he does look like he fancies his chances of getting on a par with the 2 Hondas ahead of him. Oriola immediately looks to the inside. We're seeing warning flag for car number 26 out on track as well. So car number 26 has been given a warning for track limits. That is Callejas. So Callejas having himself plenty of drama and needs to be very, very careful indeed over the remainder of this race. Otherwise, the stewards may well decide he's going to be penalised come the conclusion of the event. John Philippi currently running in 4th position. A quiet day for John Philippi. Not really seen much of him on the track. He's made advantage where others have hit drama. But John Philippi, another traditional John Philippi race. Very, very strong, stays out of trouble, keeps his nose clean and brings home the big position. So Philippi just got Gavrilov for company behind. We'll be hoping to hold on to that one. That's a bit of bouncing that we see from Coronel there. The bonnet hopefully is firmly attached on that Comtu race now, but Coronel will be very, very keen to have nothing come in his way of this race victory. Let's look at the back of your screen, just behind the 2 squabbling cars. That is Josh Files on Mato Homola, keeps the inside line, protects the apex, gives Homola no opportunity to find a way back up the inside, and now it is the run out of the chicane down this short bit of straight that we've got remaining. But Files in the middle of the racetrack, keeping the line covered, giving no opportunity for the overtaking manoeuvre, and that is a done deal. A 9th position for Josh Files, and now he needs to find some time to work his way up to the back of the Young, Oriola and Davidovsky fight ahead, which is this fight that we see on track. Look at the different lines of the cars that you'll notice. Jack Young trying to keep as little wheel input as humanly possible to keep to stop scrubbing any momentum. Oriola, much more aggressive on the wheel, much more aggressive setup in that Brindlefish car, seems to be able to hold the inside line much tighter than the Halder car ahead, and then just behind Victor Davidovsky, keeping a watching brief, fancies his chances, wants to see what these two cars are doing, whether they're going to squabble amongst themselves and leave an opportunity for Victor Davidovsky to find his way past in the ComQ Racing number 110 Audi LMS. And Davidovsky, he's got the advantage of a car that's very, very slippery in a straight line indeed. He's not too shabby in the pokey bits as well, so Victor Davidovsky will fancy his chances, but just not quite close enough now as the race is starting to settle down a little bit. Incident involving cars number 24 and 16 at T11. Number 24, of course, is the car that is campaigned this season by Jakim Galash, and car number 16 is, of course, Leonov, currently in 17th position. So Galash and Leonov under investigation. We'll find out at that one the conclusion of this race, so keep an eye on the TCR. There we go, that is the sign up on the top of your screen to confirm what I've just said. Keep your eye out on the TCR Series website to find out the outcome of that one and the conclusion of this race. But talking of conclusions and outcomes, this man Tom Coronel's got this in the bag at this moment in time. Looks very, very confident in the number 33 machine. Very smooth, using the curbs, using the full width of the racetrack, not taking any unnecessary chances. Very firmly at one with that ComQ Racing Audi. He's got his teammate behind him that's still a little bit too far away to take real advantage of the slipstream and put himself in an overtaking position. And if I've ever seen a driver who's confident in his own abilities and is hungry for a victory, it is Tom Coronel at this stage. Clint Gavrilov collecting one off the bollards out on this Paul Ricard circuit. They didn't know where the track limits are, so now that bollard's down there, we have to be careful. But look here, this is Victor Davidovsky, finds his way up the inside of Pepe Oriola. Oriola gives him racing room. Can he get back to the inside? Davidovsky has the line covered, and that is a fantastic overtaking manoeuvre by Victor Davidovsky, leveraging himself up into 7th position at the expense of Pepe Oriola. Victor Davidovsky is on a charge, and Josh Files now, after all the dramas earlier in the race, is immediately in the contention for this battle. Pepe Oriola needs to watch his mirrors. Josh Files will be fired up following the contact, following the poor start to this race from 3rd on the grid. Josh Files down in 9th position. Every overtaking manoeuvre he can make will be to his advantage. Let's have a look now in the Diamond Trophy. That's Giacomo Gamandi in the car at the rear of your shot, trying to find his way past, but running out of racing room. And this is our Victor Davidovsky pass. Dummies the car, gets it to the inside, keeps a nice tight line, a bit of a snatch break, but nothing to write home about. And Victor Davidovsky takes that one in fine style to consolidate his lead in the Diamond Trophy and give him 7th in the race overall. Pepe Oriola now under big pressure from Josh Files behind the target competition car, the Hyundai Elantra of Josh Files, one of the drivers we firmly expect to be in contention for a championship victory, or charge at the very least, in the 2022 season, is on the charge. That is Colin Barney coming down pit lane and out of the race, unfortunately. Let's have another look. This is what happened with Leonov in the Volcano Motorsport car in front. Oh, Gamandi catches the rear through the final corner. Good driving actually by Leonov to make sure the car stays pointed in the right direction. So all's fair in love and war, no harm, no foul there, but Gamandi needs to be careful not to be too aggressive, not to put damage on the car or attract the attention of the stewards. And we spoke to Giacomo Gamandi earlier this weekend, so stay tuned to the YouTube channel to hear that interview, and he is very keen to continue his career progression and improve and stay within the TCR family of racing and become a stronger and more complete driver. So really interesting to hear from Giacomo, a very nice and articulate guy. I do implore you to keep your eye out for that one. It's a good bit of content coming over the next few days. But let's get back to now. Let's get back to the race. That is Klim Gavrilov, car number 14 that we're looking at there. Gavrilov having himself a very strong race indeed. 5th position, but sat in a bit of no man's land. Not close enough to challenge the cars ahead, but not really under pressure from those behind. Gavrilov just bring the car home and get the points for a very solid indeed 5th place over the course of the next couple of laps. John Philippi still fighting hard from Felice Gelmini just ahead of him. So Gelmini very much under pressure as well. And this is Leonov and Gamandi. Leonov decides he wants that racing line despite Gamandi's car being in the place, and the two Cupras make contact, and that opens the door for Michelle Halder to say thank you very much indeed. I will go through that gap. You two can score between yourselves. I am checking out of this particular drama. Michelle Halder moves herself up into 18th position, just behind Giacomo Gamandi. That's the Yannick Motorsport team watching on with concern as their drivers continue the fight. Coronel using the curves now. Look at there. Franco Girolami still fancies his chances. He's got the gap down to 1.5 seconds. So Franco Girolami, currently one of the fastest drivers on the track. Overall, Tom Coronel has the fastest lap of a 2:13.586 from Girolami's 2:13.939. For this moment in time, the Argentinian driver of car number 72 still fancies his chances of taking the race victory. And for Girolami, every point counts in this championship. We spoke to many drivers this weekend. You can't afford a bad weekend. You cannot afford to leave points on the table, and Franco Girolami will be desperate to score, and score big, especially considering his expected championship challenges of John Phillippi's only in 4th position, and Josh Files down in 9th place, still trying to find his way past Pepe Orioles. This is a big opportunity for Franco Girolami to put some big points on the board. Nicola Baldan, that we're looking at on screen now, 11th place. Mato Homola holding on to the final of the top 10 position. So Baldan will be keen to find a way past the very, very similar car, the Hyundai Elantra N TCR machine, but run by a different team. Homola for Yannick Motorsport, Baldan for Target Competition. So a bit of intermarked rivalry, shall we say, between those two drivers, and Nicola Baldan will be keen to take that 10th position away. So lap 9 of 10. Let's have a look at the big winners and losers so far in this race. Josh Files has to go down as one of the most disappointed drivers so far, currently in 9th from his 3rd place on the grid. Franco Girolami up to 2nd position from 5th on the grid. A very, very strong recovery drive in the ComTU driver. ComTU Racing 1 and 2, of course, with Tom Coronel still leading this race, having led the race. That is the ComTU team. Big considered. There we go. That is one of the Halder cars at the side of the racetrack. So who is that one? Let's have a quick look. That is the number 7, Jack Young. So Jack Young from a very strong 7th position. Not quite sure exactly what's happened. There's smoke coming from the side of the car. Is the contact? Is that a mechanical issue? I do not know. But Jack Young, an absolute disaster for the Northern Irishman, dropping down the running order and potentially into retirement. So Jack Young for Halder Motorsport is having a disaster. We'll keep our eye on that one. We'll find out what's gone wrong with Young's car. There we go, off to the side of the racetrack, potentially some kind of issue with suspension or a puncture, I'm not quite sure. And he is furious, is Jack Young, and so he should be as well. He's a very, very confident driver on a rich vein of form. Great last time out in Portimao, great during the practice sessions, and he'll be distraught. And there's another car off the racetrack as well, so we've got drama in the final stages. That's Mato Homola. He'll be rejoining the racetrack in a few moments' time. Has he got damage? Has he got a problem? It doesn't look like he's going to continue in this race, and maybe that is another issue for Mato Homola. Yannick Motorsports out of the running order. That moves Nicola Baldan up into the top 10 position, so Baldan will be grateful for that free pass. Mike Halder moves himself up a position, as does the rest of the field. But this just goes to show, ladies and gents, it is not over until it's over in touring car racing. It might be the final lap, but that does not mean the drama comes to an end. And Mato Homola is still on the racetrack, but dropping down the running order. So a real shame for Homola. Had a bad weekend, or a disappointing weekend, should I say, in Portimao as well. And this is even worse for Mato, especially considering his teammate Jakim Galash has been involved in the wars as well. His 12th position is Galash, so at least he's looking on course to score some points. But Tom Coronel has done absolutely everything right and more, as he got pole position, an incredible lap, led away from the green flag, and Tom Coronel for ComTU Racing crosses the line as our race winner in the 3rd round of TCR Europe 2022. Tom Coronel, he came, he saw, and he conquered. Fantastic drive from the Dutchman Franco Girolami and Felice Gelmini make up our podium finishers. Victor Davidovski at the checkered flag, an outstanding 6th position, is the winner of the Diamond Trophy. So great drive from Victor Davidovski, a great day for Come To You Racing. Their cars, first, second and sixth, and winner of the Diamond Trophy as well. And there we go, Girolami congratulating his teammate, winded down, no doubt giving Tom the thumbs up, and that is a well-deserved, very, very professional race from Tom Coronel. Did not put a wheel wrong, had all the speed inside him and the car, and that transfers to a race victory and 40 points for his championship challenge. So he will be, I am absolutely certain, delighted with that result, and so he should be, and the crowd will be very receptive as well to Tom Coronel, a very popular driver in touring car racing in general, and in the TCR Europe paddock in particular. There we go, the two Come To You Racing cars in formation coming through the racetrack. Coronel, our race victor, took a podium last time out in Portimao and went two better this time and has got the winner's trophy. He will be delighted. That is our provisional driver's points. Franco Girolami retains the championship lead, but there is Coronel on 96, moves himself up in a second position. Josh Files dropping slightly further away with a disappointing race. Third overall from Clint Gavrilov, holding on to fourth in the standings. A very good start indeed to the year for Gavrilov. Filippi and Pepe Oriola are our top six provisional championship standings, of course, because the racers still need to go through scrutineering. Any appeals need to be heard and then decided upon. But as it stands, this is where the drivers' points are. And I said at the start of the broadcast, and I absolutely stand by the statement, this has got to be all the makings of a classic season, the TCR Europe competition. The cars are so closely matched. The driver talent throughout the field is so high. At any given race, one of 14, 15 drivers could conceivably and very easily come out at top of the field. So stay tuned throughout the course of this season for what is going to be race after race of incredibly intense and exciting motorsport, as we saw first time out here at Paul Ricard. The first of two races, of course, just to remind you all, if you joined in this broadcast late, we'll be racing again tomorrow for the second and final race of the day, so make sure you do stay tuned for that one, because often race 2 is rather dramatic indeed. So do make sure you stay tuned for that one. It was an absolute stormer last time out in Portimao, but this has been a great example, some fabulous overtaking from our drivers. Tom Coronel on the form of his career at 50 years of age, to go out there and really show these youngsters that speed and experience counts for a lot in tin top racing. And Tom Coronel's converted that into a sensational race victory. So I'm looking forward to our own Mark James down on pit road having a word with Tom when he gets his crash helmet off and celebrates with his team, and no doubt lifts his mobile phone out of his pocket to go and tell all his fans on Facebook all about his latest adventures. And by the way, if you are a touring car fan, I do encourage you to go and check out the social media of Tom Coronel, because he's got some fabulous content inside the scenes of what happens in his career in his many different endeavours. But this is him. This is the man of the moment. Let's get ready for this. This will be emotion. This will mean the world to Coronel. And immediately you can see it's almost a little bit too much for him.
That's number one.
Good man, Coronel, good man. Ever the showman, ever keen to show the world just how much he loves touring car racing. And when drives like that one, expect him to be around for a lot longer still, because that was perfect from Coronel. He's been on form all weekend, it has to be said. Right from free practice one, that car and driver combination have looked hooked up, have looked like they're capable of doing the business. And don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm excited to see him in race 2, starting from 10th on the grid, and how fast and how far he can make his way through the running order. That is Felice Gelmini. Started second, finished third. Not a bad day's work at all for the Italian driver. I'm sure he'll be very, very satisfied, especially after the disappointments of Portimao, and the pace just was not in the car. So good result for Gelmini, and good result for Target Competition. And there we go. Congratulations, Tom. Everybody likes a bit of a success story. That is great for the championship, great for the team and driver, and it keeps things very exciting for you and I at home for the championship. So expect Coronel He's always at the sharp end of the grid, and that will continue, I'm absolutely sure. Girolamo at the back of the picture just congratulating his team as well. I'm looking out the window and I can see Jack Young's car on the back of a low loader being recovered to the pit lane, so I'll find out exactly what happened to Jack Young, what brought the race to an early conclusion for him. But meanwhile, Coronel celebrates with his team, and I can't wait to hear from him. He was so happy after free practice, after qualification. I can only begin to imagine what it's like when it comes to taking the race victories. We can see now Mark James down on pit lane, about to have a word with him as we take a quick look at some of the highlights from what has been the opening race of the weekend here at a very warm and a very beautiful Le Castellet circuit.
Very good.
Paul Ricard. Pole position, race victory. You cannot ask for more than that. Great stuff from Tom Coronel, great stuff from Continue Racing, and also, of course, Franco Girolamo. But let's talk to Tom on the grid with Mark James.
Tom, huge congratulations. I can see from your face just how much that meant to you.
Yeah, I was in the first corner. I was looking for files. I was a little bit confused, and yeah, I thought, I have to push the first few laps. Then I start to smell also the tire and to see a little bit of smoke. So, but it was a good control. I had a very, very easy car. Very easy car. Complete good feeling with the car, and it was fully in control.
We spoke to you after qualifying, and you were a little bit emotional. This meant an awful lot to you. How do you feel now?
There you start again. Yeah, it's always great if your input is getting some output, because we always have a great effort in the winter time, also with my partners and my sponsors, and of course I'm never at home, so this also sometimes gives some difficulties. But we took the one. Winner takes it all.
Podium ceremony next. I'm sure you can remember what to do.
Oh yes, you will see the Coronel jump.
Well done.
Fantastic stuff, and as Mark said there, Tom was very emotional after qualification, and I can only imagine what the party is going to be like at Team Coronel over the course of the day here, and this is our round 3 results. Tom Coronel from Franco Girolamo, Felice Gelmini and John Philippi are our top 4. Klim Gavrilov in 5th. Victor Davidovsky, winner of the Diamond Trophy, 6 overall. From Pepe Oriola, Josh Files recovers to 8th in the end ahead of his teammate Nicola Baldan. And Mike Halder scores a top 10 after what was a very, very difficult qualification. Isidro Callejas from Joachim Gallas, 11th and 12th. Ventura in 13th on his first race of the season for Clarier Sport. Martin Rieber in 14th position. Gamande and Michel Halder at 15-16. Evangeny Leonov ahead of Mato Homola. Young, unfortunately, had to retire, as did Colin Barney as well. And this is our points after the 3 of 14 rounds here in TCR Europe. 10 points separate our top 2 drivers, both in Audis, both in Comp2U competition. Josh Files drops 29 points behind in 3rd position. Kim Gavrilov moves up into P4, 32 away from the overall championship lead. John Philippi in 5th, Pepe Oriola 6th, and Callejas in 7th position. That has been the opening race of the TCR European Championship 2022, and it has been absolutely incredible. Of course, we're racing once again tomorrow for our 2nd and final race of the weekend, so please do join us on TCR TV on YouTube to watch that one and see if Tom Coronel can recover. As we see a few highlights, that was the contact for Josh Files earlier in the race. Files, the innocent party in that one, and sadly that put pay to a good result for Josh. And there again, another Hyundai Elantra in drama. So the Hyundais have the magnets attached, it seems, this weekend, and a bit of thinking needs to be done to what can happen. That's Franco, sorry, not Franco, that is Giacomo Gamande having contact further down the running order. Not much Gamande could have done about that one, and a furious Jack Young. Disappointing to find a retirement. So, ladies and gentlemen, what a race, what a start to the weekend, and we'll see you all again tomorrow for race 2. Brilliant stuff. So we need to take a breath now. These drivers need to take a breath now, because it's podium celebration time, and champagne is going to get sprayed. The weather is incredibly warm here at Paul Ricard. The drivers have been working so hard in the cockpit, but the adrenaline kicks in these moments. The adrenaline kicks in. You don't feel the heat, you don't feel the tiredness. Tom Coronel feels nothing but pure joy for taking his race victory. And look at him now celebrating. He has time to celebrate the achievements of his team as well. Come to you racing 1-2, a fabulous start to the Paul Ricard weekend for the team. And it's time for the national anthems. There we go, folks. It's not just in Formula One. They hear the Dutch national anthem. It's also in TCR Europe, and Coronel is very emotional. Once again, there is no handing out the trophies from TCR to our third place finisher, Felice Gelmini. Third position, good result for the target competition driver after a difficult weekend in Portimao. So Gelmini will be very pleased indeed. Another Nuno from TCR dropping off the trophy for second position finisher and championship leader Franco Girolami. He'll be very satisfied indeed with that one after winning last time out in Portimao. But here's the man of the moment, Coronel. What a drive, what a sportsman, what a showman as well. 50 years old, he shows no sign of slowing down whatsoever. Where is the Coronel jump that we were promised? Oh, he needs to get the photos. Tom Coronel does like a good photograph, that has to be said. And here we go. It's going to be just lining up for the team photos. The champagne will be sprayed in a moment as well. Come to you racing from Beppe take the trophy as the winning team. So great performance, congrats to the Come to You racing drivers. And here we go, champagne's going to be sprayed, and it's time for us to say goodbye here at TCR Europe. Thank you all for tuning in. Join us again tomorrow. Thanks a lot, and bye-bye.